let me tell you, I mean, I'm looking at the audience and I'm older than most, if not all. And so here's the deal. I can remember all the kids that I grew up on in the street that I grew up on. I remember all their names. Tommy Hammond lived catty corner across the street, and Eddie Lister lived around the corner. Like, I got them all down. People I just met yesterday, shit, I can't remember them, all right? And it just gets worse and worse and worse. So here's what happens. I load up one of these computers with a PowerPoint presentation, and every time I hit that little clicker thing, the damn thing goes up, you see it, and then I'm going to have to figure out, like, oh, shit, okay, yeah, all right. So here's the deal. If I don't have PowerPoints, then you have no idea what I skipped because you don't know what the hell I'm doing. So that really makes me comfortable. I don't have a speech for you either. So I'm not a guy that comes in and has, okay, here's his hour speech, this is what he does, this is what he gives, blah, 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 blah. So I don't do that. So what they do is they put these booklets together and say, stay in the booklet. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and stay in the booklet, all right? Otherwise, I'm all over. Now, I come up and I throw crap up on that flip chart up there. Here's what I want to tell you. If you take a look at this book. Let's take a look for just a minute. Look at page 3, for example. Page 3. Just look at it. All right, we don't have to study it. There ain't much there, right? Page 3, page 4, right? Page 5. Okay, now just stop. You getting the flavor here? This book, if you don't take good notes, this book sucks. Okay? All right? Now, I know what I would have wanted to put on this book. I know what I would have thought was the greatest book to get on. But here's the problem. It would have been in my words and not yours. And what I wanted to do is I want you to put it in your words. What resonates with you? What really made sense to you? And this is a bit of an unusual audience. You may not know that, but you are for me, because an awful lot of times who I'm speaking to are exclusively the sales side of the house. Sales managers, salespeople. We've got all dimensions of the company here. And so when I've got all of these people at Master, I have to feed each one of you. So I had to figure all that out as I go along. So stay in the game. But here is my message, number one. No matter what your role is in the company, if you don't think you're in sales, you need a wake-up call. Because I've been selling my entire life. I started selling at the age of 7 years old. I owned the market and charged twice the price of every kid I competed with. Now, I've been selling for 5+ decades, and I am a parent and a grandparent. When I deal with my 2- and 6-year-old grandsons, do you think there's a day that goes by that I'm not interacting with them where I ain't pulling out the best sales tools I got? We are selling all the time. Just understand that, no matter what role that you have in the company. So I'm on the phone with Riyadh, and remember how this takes place. I'm a bit of a cram down. He's not like whatever he has seen so far, what you've seen of me, that's all he's got. He has no clue what I'm like, right? All he knows is his brothers crams him down his throat and says, get on the phone with this guy and seal the deal and get it done, right? And so buyer beware, he has no idea, right? And so I get on the phone with him, and I said, all right, so what are we going to do? And he said, well, here's what we got. We got everybody from corporate. We got all the salespeople, sales managers, we got all kinds of people here. And so I said, so what do you got? And he says, well, I'd like you to be near the end. And I got about 3 hours or so. And I said, okay, so you haven't seen me speak before, right? So here's what we got. I can talk about culture. I can talk about how to create a culture in the company where the people who work in it don't get up in the morning each morning going, oh, I got to go to work again today. Oh, I got to go to work again. Rather, you get up every morning and say, hot damn, I get to go to work at Master Electronics. Because, Riyadh, if we could create that kind of an environment, we'd have a competitive, sustainable advantage. So I can actually speak for like 4 to 5 hours nonstop on that. This is a phone conversation I'm having with a guy, right? So I said, second topic, talk about sales management. Now, sales management. Here's my first one-liner for you. A sales manager's job is not to grow sales. It's to grow salespeople in quantity and quality. And if you grow salespeople in quantity and quality, they in turn will grow your sales. So I could talk to you about how to recruit the best damn salespeople in the world, how to train them, how to coach them, how to build them, how to develop them. And you know what? If we want to do that, I can speak all day on that. Now, there's a third area that I talk about, and that's sales. And I can talk about sales, how to win new customers, how to grow the ones you got, how to go wide, how to go deep, how to differentiate yourself from the competition. All of what does an individual salesperson do to be effective? And quite frankly, I can go for a day or two full on sales. I do it all over the world. So, you having not seen me before and knowing the group, what do you think? And he says, yeah, that sounded good. And I'm like, okay, so we got some listening issues here. And so what did we decide to do? We decided to do all of it.
Yeah, a little bit of each.
A little bit of each. So if it sucks, don't slay the messenger, all right? He's the guy that's pulling the strings behind the scenes, all right? All right, so the workbook includes all three programs. It includes culture, it includes sales management, it includes sales. Now, there's going to be a lot of sales stuff coming out of my mouth, and as I do it, with the people that are not specifically in sales or sales management, where are you? Where are those people? All right, now, here's what I want you to remember, that when I say something like a sales manager should be doing these things, just take the word sales out, and if you're a manager, it applies, okay? So just understand and make that conversion and figure out how to take the sales piece out if you want and throw in how it'll best apply to your business. If every person here were to make their way through this workbook, and if you were to get to the back of the workbook and you found three takeaways, three, that you could go back into your business and implement within the next 2 weeks, then I think we had a great afternoon. That's the charge I'm giving you. And so the last page in this workbook is blank on the back. So every time that you hear me say something that you go, that was a great idea, I could use that. Write it on the back of here, because it'll get buried inside of here, and then I'm going to get afraid that nothing's going to get done. All right? So that's the story. If you write more than 3, I'm good with it. I've had people in 3.5 hours that put 40 things down. Now, the problem with 40 is you won't do any. But write 40, if you got 40, and then circle the 3 that you're going to do in the next 2 weeks. That's the way the game is played. All right? Page number 2 is a background on me. I'll give you my background so that you understand why the hell you should pay attention to me. All right? So, started selling at 7. Then at 12, I built my first company. And at 13, I had 5 employees that did all the work. I kept 70% of the money. I said, hot damn, I know what I'm going to do when I grow up. I'm going to be an entrepreneur. At 13, I did something really unusual. I didn't know it was unusual at 13, but as I've grown up, people have always been remarking like, wow, who gave you that idea? But what I did is I interviewed 200 of you. So I interviewed 200 successful adults on how I could expedite my journey and be more successful when I grew up. And it was amazing how many common themes I got out of those interview processes. And one of them was this: man, you're a dangerous guy. You're a sales guy who actually believes he's going to build a successful business. And the history books are not kind to you. And so my best advice is that you need to go to school and understand how the numbers work. Because what happens with sales guys that try to start companies is they bring in the sales, but they don't know how to bring it to the bottom line. And they run out of cash and they don't make money. So I'm a weird sales guy because I'm a degreed accountant. And I worked at Arthur Andersen before there was an Enron, and a master's in business. And I never really aspired to be an accountant. There's nothing wrong with accountants. I was a CFO and all that. But I never really wanted to be one of them. But when I finished that kind of journey, I then went on a new journey. And you see this blank sheet of paper here? Well, I've had the occasion to take it 6 different times, scale out a business plan, write it all up, convince other people to come and join me, and then all of our companies grew. And they grew extremely fast. Fast on the revenue sales side and fast on the profit side. I grew up in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, and I'm a big believer that as a leader in the company, the best thing that I can be is out in the field. Best thing I could do is out in the field. I got really blessed to meet some really incredible entrepreneurs in my life and business owners, business leaders. One of them is Paul Orfiglia. Anybody know who that is? Paul Orfiglia? That's what I typically hear from my audiences. Let me see if you know this one. Anybody ever hear of Kinko's? Okay, so Paul Orfiglia was the founder of Kinko's. And so here's the deal. He was a student at the University of California, Santa Barbara. And he finished his college thesis paper, and he's running around on campus, and he's going into the admin offices and saying, hey, could you make a copy of this for me? And then the admin offices at the school are going, you're a student. We don't do that for students. Get out of here. Get out of here. And Paul has a brilliant moment. He says, wait a second, there's thousands and thousands of kids on campus, and they all probably have the same problem, the same need. So you know what? I bet if I leased a copier and just put it out front of the gates of UCSB, put a sign on it that said Kinko's Copy, I'd probably make a fair amount of change. So he leased 500 square feet of space attached to a burger joint right out front of the gates of UCSB and put the sign on it, Kinko's Copies, and the rest is history. Thousands and thousands of stores around the world. And he started telling me the rest of the story, and I said, wait a minute. Kinko's Copies. How do you come up with that as a name? And he says, oh, shit, that was simple. He said, when I was a student back then, I had this big afro, and my hair was real kinky, and my nickname was Kinko. So Kinko's Copies. And I said, well, shit, no wonder you sold it to FedEx. You're bald. Kinko's no more. And man, Paul Orfiglia's really quick, and he goes, yeah, and I sold it to him for an obscene amount of money. And I love that term. Well, I spent a couple hours with Paul, and I took everything I could out of him. And let me give you the biggest thing that I took out of Paul Orfiglia that day. He said, I had to go with the deal when I sold it. And I had to go with it for a couple years. It was tough, two of the toughest years I ever had in my life. He said, I'm sure FedEx has a great culture. I know Kinko's did, but they were different. Let me tell you how different they were. When I sold the company to FedEx, what they told me is that I had to go into the office every day. He said, the entire time that I built Kinko's, I never had an office at corporate. I spent 100% of my time in the field. And then my little quote that I got out of him was this one. He said, the job of a CEO is not to run the company, it's to grow it. And you don't grow it by sitting behind a desk. You got to be in the field. Well, that was very comforting for me because that's how I'm built. That's how I'm wired. Shit, I don't want to be in an office. I want to be in the field. That's where the action is. And so I grew up in the Philly area. Anybody been checking that weather out over there? I mean, here in Tempe, they think today is cold and sucks. They ought to take a trip up northeast. Man, I'm telling you what. And so I'm an endurance athlete. That's what page 2 tells you. I do marathons. I've done a few. I've done 68, actually. I'm doing a marathon in all the continents. I've got Antarctica left, and so I'm going in February. And I'm doing Antarctica. That'll clean that mess up. And then I'm doing an Ironman on all the continents. I just have Asia left, and I'll be done with that. I have 15 of those. I'm doing a marathon in all 50 states. I have 38 states completed. And since I'm at 68 anyway, and I got to get 18, I got to get 12 more to get to the 50 states. Well, shoot, that puts me close to 100. So I decided to do 100 marathons. And since I'm over 50 triathlons, I might as well do 100 of those too. So I'm playing the top 100 golf courses. I have over 84 of those completed. Basically, you're looking at a guy with a lot of time on his hands. But here's what I'm telling you. I'm an outdoors guy, right? And so it's amazing to me. Every time I went and visited my offices in California, it didn't matter what month of the year it was, the weather was epic. It was just grand. And if you're a guy that likes to be outdoors, imagine December, people in shorts and T-shirts, right? Man, and I'm going to be out on my bike for 100 miles or out running 20 miles and that kind of thing. Whew. So in San Diego, about to board the plane to go home to see my lovely wife, Bonnie. 2 weeks ago, December 27th, we celebrated our 45th wedding anniversary. Yep. Actually, she's not here. That deserves to go to her, not me, right? And so I called Bonnie up and I said, hey, Bonnie, I'm in San Diego. I'm really looking forward to coming home. About to board the plane. Want to let you know what I'm going to be doing on the plane today. I'm going to take a blank sheet of paper out and I'm going to sketch a new company. And I'm going to build the business plan on the plane. This company that I'm going to build next is actually going to be headquartered in Southern California, and we're going to be moving there. And I thought that I'd give you the balance of the day to come up with all the reasons why we won't be, and I'll be ready for you when I get home. And the good news is her list was pretty short. It only took us 2 years to knock it out. And in 1985, we boarded a plane, and we headed west with our 2 children, and Bonnie and I. And that was 30 years ago, and we've lived on the beach in Southern California for the last 30 years. When I arrived, I didn't know anybody in California, and I was intimidated as hell to start a company without knowing anyone. And so I convinced 3 guys on the East Coast that had worked with me before to get on a plane and come out with me. And so the 4 of us started building our company. I want you to visualize just 3 other people in the room that you know and yourself. Start building this company, and 18 months later, our company had grown into 22 locations in the United States. We had grown from 4 people to 750 people in 18 months. And the best part of that story is we made $42 million in profits in our first 3 years. If I had time to share with you all 6 of the companies I built, you'd hear the same thing. Way fast growing on the top and bottom line. One morning I'm shaving at home. I'm 46 years old, and I looked in the mirror, and I said, I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them today. And then when I moved downstairs and had breakfast with Bonnie, I looked at her and I said, actually, I don't want to see them ever again. And what I was talking about were employees. And what I realized is that I lost my passion for what I was doing. And so let me give everyone here a piece of advice. If you're not passionate about what you do, you should get up and get out and go pursue your passion. It's the best advice I'm going to give you for the next 3 hours. I'm about to be 66 years old. Here's what I found in my life journey. Whenever I find myself in a place of passion, man, I'm a lot happier. You know what else I found? The people around me are a lot happier too. You know what the best part is? Money tracks you down. It's amazing how many people in the world are going into work every day, not because they want to, but because they feel stuck. They don't enjoy what they're doing. They don't have passion for it, but they married someone. They have a responsibility. They have a house. They have a responsibility. They have kids. They have a responsibility. And they feel jammed in the corner, and they feel like they have no options. I'm telling you, the world is full of options. Go pursue your passion, and it will be amazing how bountiful your financial life will be. But if you are just, see, Bonnie and I are really different. We're really, really different. My motto might be this: never put off till tomorrow what you can get done today. Bonnie's, if I don't get it done today, that's why God made tomorrow. And we really had a very serious conversation before we got married. And this is the guy that started it. And I said, hey, God, I got to tell you, Bon, we're way different. And I think that's why we're attracted to one another. So can we have a handshake before you get married and promise to never try to change each other? And that's why you gave her a hand, because she didn't try to fuss with me. Because if she did, I'd have fired her. All right. You think I'm kidding you? I'm going to cover that later. All right. Now, I'm telling you, it's amazing how many people are just feeling stuck. Get unstuck. Go pursue your passion. That's my best advice. When I was the CEO and owner of companies, I would tell people that in my company every speech I gave. And I'd say, hey, and if you're not passionate, I don't want you to worry. I don't want you to worry about your job. I don't want you to worry about your bills. Just come in and just come to me personally, as the owner of this company and tell me what you're passionate about and why you're not passionate about what you're doing, and I'll see if I can find a spot in the company that unleashes your passion. And if we can't, then I'll work with you with the sources I have outside of the company and try to make it happen for you. Life's too short. Go pursue your passion. And so I had a rough ride to work that morning, and I got in my car and I drove into work, and I called my investors and I called my board members, and I said, I've lost my passion, it ain't coming back, and the best advice I have for everybody here is you need to buy me out, you need to get me out, and you need to take me out as quickly as possible. And within 90 days, I was unemployed at 46 years old. And the good news is that I had built up quite a reputation in the business I was in, which was the financial services business. And my phone started to ring, and people said, hey, I know I got extra time. Could you come over and do some consulting with us here, consulting here? And none of that was really turning my jets on. And then all of a sudden, I got called by this woman, and she said, Jack, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I would love for you to do the opening keynote. We have a conference in New Orleans. Everybody's coming from around the United States. We've got about 850 people that are going to attend. I'd love you to open it up. It's going to be 3 days, and I'd just like you to speak for an hour and a half. And I said, gosh, that sounds really, really interesting. What financial service company are you with? And she started laughing. She said, no, I'm not with a financial service company. And I said, well, what do you do? What's a conference? And she said, we're in the footwear business. I said, the footwear business? Are you sure you got the right guy? The only thing I know about footwear is I wear it, and when it wears out, I buy new stuff. Like, that's it. And she says, yeah, I know, but my husband's in the financial services business. And there was this big convention, and you were speaking at it, and he said, you need to come along and see this guy because he's really good. So I'm sitting there, and it was about a half hour into your presentation, and I turned to my husband, and I said, he would be awesome to be the speaker at our conference. All we need to do is, like, change 6 words. And I'm like, do you know the 6 words? And she said, no, we'll get you all suited up. And I said, okay, so when is it? And so she gave me the date, and I looked it up, and I was open. They were all open. And I said, open, looks good. And so I went, and I did this presentation, and at the end of it, 850 people got up out of their chairs, and they're screaming and yelling and giving me the standing ovation. And then, Riyadh, they gave me this check that was so big. And I come running home to Body, and I said, oh my God, I had so much fun. It was unbelievable. And these people stood up, and people coming up and shaking my hand and said how valuable it was and all. And look at this. Look at that. Holy shit, I think I'm going to do more of this. And she said, God bless, just get out of the house and do something. And that was 20 years ago. And that's kind of what I am. And that's what I've been doing. And I do about 125 of these around the world each year. And I'm sold out before the year begins. And I don't even have any clue how I even got here, because when did you see me? Just a couple months ago, October or something. That's freakish that I would even be available. We usually are booking people a year out in advance. And so hopefully, as we go on our journey this afternoon, you will get the clear impression of how passionate I am about my business. I want to tell you how pleasurable it is. I have salespeople that have sat in the seats that you're sitting in, that 1 to 2 years after this session, they've sent me emails and said that I've tripled their income on what they learned in this session. Wow. Do you know what impact that's not doing in their family, with their children? Those types of things. Schools that they're going to, lives that they're living. Do you know I have businesses that are growing by astronomical numbers? Astronomical numbers. Any military vets in the room? Military veterans. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Okay. I was a captain in the United States Army, and I went through ROTC, and it was back in the 60s when there was this thing called Vietnam going on. I failed my medical. I was classified 4F, and I said, no, that's bullshit. Why? They told me, and I said, open me up and fix it, and we fixed it, and then I got commissioned. And so while everybody else was trying to go across the border and hide, I'm at the front of the line, okay? Now, I am a major backer of the military, and in fact, I spent 5 years teaching recruiters in every branch of the military how to effectively put kids in boots during the last 10 years. a time of war. You want to talk about a tough sales job? You want to talk about a tough sales job? And by the way, you got to close it twice. You close the kid, then you got to close the parent. Well, in the military, there's a tradition, and that's the challenge coin. And an awful lot of military will carry their coin. It's personalized to their branch and to their person, and they carry it with them. And the greatest compliment you can get from a military soldier is for them to coin you. They shake your hand, and they pass that coin right in there. Well, I got two guys that saw me several years ago doing my work with the military, and they were lifelong military guys, Paul and Steve. And Paul and Steve called me up 7 years ago and said, we're going to leave the military and retire, and we're going to go out together as partners and build a business. And we can't think of a better guy to mentor us and to coach us in growing our business with all the history that you have. Would you do that? And I said, two military guys? Absolutely. Let's go kick some ass. They're in D.C. So on my website, I post all the places I'm going to be in the next 3 months. And so they're looking at the schedule, and they see I'm coming through D.C., so I get a call from them and say, hey, we see you're coming through D.C. Is there any way that we can take you out to dinner? We want to celebrate. And I said, perfect. What do we celebrate? And they said, we're going to tell you when you get here. So we got there, and Paul stands up, and he coins me. Now, he's no longer in the military, but he created this coin inside his company, and they have a tradition of coining employees when they do a good job and they do something really noteworthy. And so he coined me with this coin. And what was really cool about the coin was on the opposite side. And for those of you that can't read it in the back, I get it, okay? Inc. 500. That's the 500 fastest growing privately held companies in the United States. You have to be in business for 5 years before you can apply. On their 5th year, they took all of their financial statements and all the gobbledygook that Inc. magazine said that they needed to send in. They sent it in hoping to make the Inc. 500. And their first year ever qualifying, they made it on the Inc. 500. That's cause for celebration, wouldn't you say? But what was really cool, Daryl, can you read small print?
No, I can't.
Okay. Can you? Okay. So what was really cool was what was printed on the top of this. Tell everybody what it says.
Rank number 2.
Did you get that? They were the second fastest growing company privately held in the United States of America. Now, what did it take? Bottom of the coin.
24,830% revenue growth.
You think I'm passionate about what I do? Holy shit, baby. Let's go make some shit happen. What do you say?
Yeah, do it.
Page 3. Let's go. Page 3. All right, let's go. We're going to go to work. Let's do it. So I want to talk to you about the very big picture. So here's how we're going to go. We're going to talk 30,000 feet up, what makes a great company even better. Then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about culture. Then we're going to talk about sales management. Then we're going to talk about sales. Somewhere in there, I'm going to give you a break. And I talked to Riyadh and said, should we give him a break or not give him a break? And it's like, yeah, 2 to 5:30. I mean, gosh, you know, I do Ironmans, right? 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike, 26.2 mile run. I've done two of them here in Tempe. And the pros finish in 8 hours. Now, old guys, we don't do the 8 hours, but you got to finish in 17. I do okay. I perform pretty well. I come in at about 13 hours. And so what I had to teach myself is how to not go to the bathroom for 13. So I could punish you, all right? But we're going to take a break somewhere along the line. All right. 3 huge things. You listening? I am. All right. Make sure. All right? All right. Because I'm looking at you right now, all right? But the cool thing is you saw me in that 1 hour thing over there in Vegas, right? Okay. And whatever it was, it seemed like one to me. All right. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. I love the fact that you asked me to be here after seeing that, because I'm going to share the scorecard on your ass with these people so they hold your ass accountable. Okay? I know. Well, you know what? You dump the responsibility down to Riyadh, it comes boomeranging right on back, brother. All right. There's 3 really big things that need to happen in a company in order for it to be successful. And the thing that I say is the leader has to own this page. The first thing is vision. You can't get there if you don't know what it is. What do you want this thing to be? What is it way down the line? What is it in the future? Stephen Covey put it this way: begin with the end in mind. What does Master Electronics look like down there? Here's my definition of vision. Something that gets people inside the company and outside the company excited about what's going on in the company. Magnetic, compelling. Friend of mine lives here in the Phoenix area. Cameron Harold, I love his term for it. Painted picture. If you could paint the picture of Master Electronics, what would it look like 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, whatever that timeline is? Then, once you have it, then what I say is you can't talk about it enough inside the company. Over and over and over again, even one-on-one with people. Making sure that we're all going in the same direction. As companies scale, as companies grow, we find more and more people coming into the company, becoming employed, but they're doing jobs and they're working hard, but they're not working on anything that relates to the vision. We have people going in all different directions. I want you to picture yourself living in the house next to me at the beach in Southern California, and you look out the window and I am loading up my car with luggage. You know, the trunk is full of luggage already, and now I'm cramming suitcases in the back seat. And you come out and you stand next to the car and you ask me a question. What are you asking me?
Where are you going?
Where are you going? East. Where east? Don't know yet. How long are you going to be gone for? Don't know that either. Damn. How much is it going to cost you? Don't know that either. I just figure I'm going to get in the car and make it up as I go along. You want to come? I'm thinking that you go back into the house and say, I think he's lost his mind. Do you know how many business leaders I run into out there that are telling this? Follow me. Where are you going? Don't know, making this shit up as I go along. So I got blessed. I got the interview and spend some time with Herb Kelleher. So the guy that built Southwest Airlines, basically, okay? And Herb Kelleher told me it is as if I stole this page off of his desk. That's how he built Southwest Airlines. And after he saw me make this presentation, he said, hey, can I offer you some advice? And I'm like, shit, you're Herb Kelleher. Go, brother. And he said, when you get in front of an audience and you start talking about this vision, tell them this. Make sure that you tell all the employees how the company makes money and what their role is in making that money. He said, let me show you how I did it at Southwest. Wheels up. Thank you. When the wheels are up, we make money. When the wheels are down, we don't. So 45,000 employees at Southwest Airlines, you know what your job is? Get the wheels up faster than everybody else. I do over 200,000 air miles every year. I'm on every damn airline out there. I'm here to tell you they do that job better than everybody else. You're on the back third of a Southwest Airlines flight and it lands. I guarantee you, before you get off the plane, you're going to encounter 2 flight attendants scurrying on down the aisle, straightening out the seatbelts, and taking the trash off of the seats. No other airline does that. I have 6.5 million miles with American. Every time on an American Airlines flight, I turn to the flight attendant and say, how come you don't do that? What do they tell me? It's not my job. It does not exist. That phrase does not exist in Southwest Airlines. Herb Kelleher told every employee, look, if we stop using it's not my job, if all we do is say, get that airplane up faster than everybody else, you know what's going to happen? We're going to open up new gates. We're going to open up new cities. We're going to buy more planes. There's going to be job security. There's going to be promotions. There's going to be benefits. There's a whole goodie bag. Here's what I want Master Electronics to figure out when I leave here. And I'm putting it on you. What is your wheels up message here? What is your wheels up message here? See, it can be as simple as don't worry about what the other guys are doing that you compete with. Understand what drives your business is the fact that you've got so much on the shelves that you don't have to worry about whether the item is in there. And as a result, you can drive the business by getting more margin because of that aspect. It could be as simple as that. And if everybody was on that bus, Then we get out of the whole damn thing where salespeople are running around bitching and moaning about, I need a lower price, which I can't freaking stand. I don't know. I'm an outsider just passing through. I ain't got anybody, no employees. I get to go, do this, get a big check, and I'm out.
It's pretty big.
All right. So here we go. You know what? You talked to Jennifer, right? All right?
Yep.
And you did that before this year, right? It was 2014. Good timing. Could have been worse. All right. All right. Second thing. 3 things on the page. Key people in key spots. Key people in key spots. I know we have a lot of different roles here in the company represented in the room. I apologize if I offend anyone along the way, but I want to share something with you. When it comes to growing a company in a hyper sales growth way, in a way that is not 10% more than last year, 15, 24,830. When you want to grow a company at an outrageous way, I'm going to show you how to do that. Jamil called me up, or whoever is in charge of a company, and they'll see me speaking somewhere, and they'll say, hey, I'm buying the story. I want you to hyper-grow my company. Help me out. I'm on the phone with them for the first time, and I say, hey, you got an organization chart? Yeah, send it to me right now while we're on the phone. Here we go. I get an organization chart that looks like this. Here's the CEO of the company. Here's the person running the sales side. Here's the person running the ops side. Here's the person running the money side. You know, promise makers, promise keepers, yeah? Guy looking after the cash, looking after the margins. I mean, in a lot of organizations, hell, hey, shit, this group, I don't know whether we make money on it. They just give me the price, I sell it. All right, so you better have this guy. Maybe there's an HR person here, maybe an IT person, but let me get there. I got enough up here to work with. Watch this. Of all the positions in the company, when it comes to hyper-growing the revenue line, the most important position in the entire company is right there. Right there. Right there. Because without that, the rest of you dudes, you got nothing to do. By the way, that's you too. So I'm roaming all over the place, and you know what I find? I find this. I find guys like Jamil all over the place that want to grow, go, but all so often the small to medium-sized companies tend to stay small to medium. We don't find many companies doing this. In 1998, one of my companies was number 10 on the list, 10,100% growth. We don't find many that do that. And so I'm a guy that's inquisitive. I interviewed 200 adults when I was 13. And so I'm inquisitive, and I ask this question. Why? Let me give you one of the fundamental reasons why companies underperform on the revenue line. Because they're guilty of committing one or more of what I now call the 3 sins of sales management. The 3 sins of sales management. And the next page in your workbook is important enough that we ought to share with you what those 3 sins are. So, here we go. First sin that we run into is we find that the CEO also wears the hat of the sales manager. And the problem with that sin is that this job done right is full-time, and it's really important. And I've been that guy more than a half a dozen times. And I know it for a fact, how important it is and how much work is involved, full-time. And then this job, my largest sales force, 2,600 salespeople. I know what that job is. That's at least full-time. So I'm on the phone with sinner number 1, and I ask for the organization chart. Full-time guy here, full-time guy here, full-time guy here, full-time guy here. The most important position in the entire company. Oh shit, I'll do that part-time. By definition, if there's a company that I work with that's doing this sin number 1, what they've done is they have organized themselves to grow part-time. Every moment they're involved here, they're not growing the company here. Because how do you grow a company? You grow the sales force in quantity and quality. And that's what that dude's job is. Got it, dude? By the way, language. So you'll hear me use guy a lot. I grew up in Philly, right? Okay, so it's male or female. Don't feel excluded, okay? I don't care how you're plumbed, all right? Everybody's a guy until 5:30. All right. All right. Now, second sin that we run into. We take the best salesperson that we have in the organization. Anybody want to tell me what that sin is? Yeah, there we go. Oh, you used a word that I would never use. That's one of the crimes that we do in business. We call it a promotion. It ain't a promotion. We make them into the sales manager, okay? Look, watch this. Salesperson. Here we go. Best salesperson. Man, win new customers, grow the ones you got, differentiate yourself from the competition. We said, man, that guy's really good at that. Let's make him the sales manager. Job, recruit, train, coach, build, develop salespeople. Nothing that I just said here did that person do over there. And the dude over here, he lives in a different world than that guy. He lives in a world called immediate gratification. Watch. Got a sale, pumped to get another one. Got a sale, pumped, get another one. Then we put him over here, the land of no immediate gratification. Recruiting a top sales guy could take you a year or more. So, well-watered here, no water here, human being. What do? Oh, let me sell some shit. Let me sell some shit, right? And the CEO says, no, you don't sell shit anymore. Get back over here, right? And you do this long enough to the guy, and what does he do? Quits, right? To do what? Sell. For who, maybe?
Competition.
For the competition. Look what we've done. We've lost our best sales guy. We sent him to competition. We have no sales manager. By the way, there's a lot of laughter going on, right? Tell me why. No, really. No, really. No, it's okay. Tell me why. I just want you to validate. Watch. Because all I'm doing is coming to you today with a big mirror and saying, look what you dumb shits are doing to yourselves. Now, I want to introduce you to the third sin. You had no idea.
He was so calm.
No idea. All right. This one, when I run into sin 3, I want to jump off the roof of the building as long as it's high enough that I'll die when I land. Because I don't want to come in and ever deal with you again. Watch this one. Oh, what a beaut. We take the best salesperson, we make him a sales manager, and say, continue with your accounts and book of business. Now I am clueless. Clueless. How the hell could this person be successful? I don't even know how you define success for person 3. Oh, look at this. Watch this. Position 3 had the best year in their career, was the number 1 salesperson in the entire company, and number 2 wasn't even in the hunt, not even close. You know what we would do in a company like that when that happened? We'd recognize them, we'd reward them, we'd bonus them, we'd send them on trips, we'd do so much for that person. And everything we just did for that person was wrong. Because every moment that that person did this, they shortchanged you in growing your sales force. I ask business owners all the time about number 3. Really? How does he spend his time? How does he spend his time? This is the most frequent answer I get. Well, I would guess he spends his time about 50-50, Jack. And I'm going, you would guess? So, do you do weight and age at the carnival? What the hell are you talking about guessing? By the way, I know how he spends his time. Tell me how he got paid. Well, and how much came from selling and how much came from sales management? Oh, 90%. 90% of my pay came from sales, 10% from sales management. Well, if you had a cat that was paid like that, what do you think he's working on? And so every time what happens is companies structure themselves to be underperformers. That's all I'm telling you. Don't shoot the messenger, just deal with the message, okay? That's the deal. All right, back on to page number 3. We need to clean up that last page, that last point, and that is the 3 pieces. And the third piece is culture. Culture. Every company has one. The question is this: Do you have a culture by design, or do you have a culture by default? Has someone sat down in the company and said, this is the way we want our company to breathe, feel, smell, act, and then built the systems and processes to ensure consistency throughout the organization? How many times have I found that I'm on the road and I skipped a meal and I need to eat something, I'm starting to feel it in my head, and I see the golden arches. And I drop into a McDonald's, and all of a sudden I drop into this McDonald's, and the people are snarly, and the restaurant is dirty, and it takes forever to give me a meal, and it's cold when I get it, and everything is terrible about it. But you know what? 6 hours later, I've forgotten another meal, and there's the arches again, and I pull into a different arch, and you know what? The people are friendly, and the place is clean, and the food is quick, and it's hot. That's the same company, but a different culture from location to location. You know what's failing? Cultures are driven at the local level, and you know what else? They should be system and processed across the board. But if you get this culture right, everything that goes on in your company gets easier. And so the most important thing that you could do is get your culture right. So I actually make fun of you for saying, let's do a little bit of all three. But I wouldn't have agreed if I didn't agree. And you actually made the right choice. Okay, you just put me in a bad spot because I don't know how to do it. All right, so page number 5. All right, we're going to talk to you about culture. And it's important enough to have its own page. So I got a definition at the top of the page. Well, actually, I have an opportunity for you to put a definition at the top of the page. And I came up with 3 different definitions of a culture. Here's my first one that you could write at the top of the page. Want to versus have to. Want to go to work versus have to go to work. What is the culture like? I'm speaking at the Fairmont Hotel in Toronto, grand old hotel. I mean, it's just a charming place. And I had an appointment later that day after I spoke about 3 blocks up the street. And literally, you exit the Fairmont on the side, and the street is like that, and I'm 3 blocks up. And my client's going to be there, and I'm going to meet with him. So when I finish, I exit the hotel, I start heading up the street, and this mass of humanity is coming towards me. And they're running, some of them are in the street. Everybody is very fast-paced, and they are all going in the same direction. And the only thing that clicked in my mind in this unsettled world that we live in today is, bad shit's going on up there. Like, is it a bomb scare or something? Like, so I grabbed a hold of this guy and I said, hey, should I be going up there? What's going on? Is there something bad going on up there? And the guy looked at me and he goes, what the hell are you talking about? And I said, look at everybody. They're all running in the same direction. And the guy said, yeah, the train station's right there. Okay? It was 5:15. The only way all of those people working in those high rises for all different companies could have ever orchestrated to be there at the same time was if for the last hour they were looking at their watches going, when is the warden letting us out? They didn't want to go to work there. They had to go to work there. Every time I built my company, you know what I said I want to do? I want to create an environment where people spring out of bed and say, hot damn, I get to go to work with that company. Competitive, sustainable advantage. My second definition that I wrote down at the top of that page is this. I put a hard charge on me. I say, you know what? I want to create an environment in my business, a culture in my business, where the people who work in it don't just give me what's in their mind and their body, they give me what's in their heart. And you know what I ask business leaders all the time? What are you doing to win over the hearts of your people? Because I can tell you this, if you win over the hearts of your people, they'll go through walls for you. They will do things that you can never make a person do. They will come in early, they will stay late, they will work weekend, they will do everything. All we must do is take the time to show we care and win over their hearts. The reason that I need to exit is I gave so much of my heart when I was building my businesses that I was fearful that I would be without a heart. I was going to die. because I cared so much. And when you get to the point where you've got thousands and thousands of employees and you've done it several times, you burn out. I was not healthy for the company to be around. Cause the heart. The third definition that I wrote at the top of the page was put the F word back in your business. Truly, make it fun. Is it fun to come to work here at Master Electronics? Is this, we have any attorneys in the house? You see behind you here that we got child labor law or what?
I see that. I'll look into that.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. So my son is 35, and our daughter is 42, and I've been doing this for 20 years, and so 20 years ago they would be sitting in those seats, and they actually would skip school at times when I was in the neighborhood just to see me speak, because they said, I think I'll get more out of being with you, Dad, than I'll get sitting in a classroom. I agree. Nice. The reason I came over here and talk with these guys, what's your name? Ajay. Ajay. What's your name? Alia. Alia. So the reason that I stopped for a moment is that when I said that we ought to create an environment where you make it fun, their smiles and their faces just lit up. No, it truly did. And so if you want to talk about companies that are experiencing exceptional, exponential growth, if you want to talk about companies that are just killing it out there, then you want to go up to Silicon Valley. Now you think it might have to do with technology, but it actually has to do with culture. And the kids want to go to work there, and it ain't about the money. It's about the culture. There's a lesson to be learned there. And you know what? We're all actually kids. We just got a little few more miles on us. And so just make it fun. And I know I like to go to places where I'm going to have fun. Make it fun. So there's some examples that I'd like to share with you. And there are 4 companies, and I could go on and on and on, but I'll give you 4 to write down that are just doing a hell of a job at this. The first example I give you is Zappos. And if you're ever in Vegas, I really encourage you to go and visit their place of business. You can go online or phone them. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, they do 4 one-hour tours for free. And it's just 1 hour, and they take you all the way through, and they explain how they built this company from scratch. You know, they're in their 13th year. On their 10th year, they sold the company for $1.2 billion. 10-year-old company, $1.2 billion. And when Jeff Bezos at Amazon bought the company, he said he bought it for one word, and that's the culture. I've been through the tour 4 times. I want to go again now because they just changed locations, and they moved from Henderson, about 30 minutes outside of the city, into the downtown area and then rejuvenating the city. But I'll tell you, when you go through the tour, they give you the culture book of the company. And notice this one's 2010. They publish this thing new every year. And you don't have to go through the tour to get it. If you wanted to get the book, you could get it just by going online and say, send me your culture book. They'll send it to you for free. But I don't know that you want to get it, so don't put it in your notes. Because here, let me just explain what it is before you say I'm going to order it. All it is emails from every employee in the company to Tony Hsieh, the founder. And they're unedited. They're in their own words, spelling mistakes, everything. And all Tony says is, send me an email so I can put it in the book and let me know what you think of the company, good or bad. Every one of them gets printed. And then they've got photos of people in the company just having fun. It's just emails and then photos of people having fun. And when I first read my first time through, this is what I determined. They don't have employees at Zappos. They have a cult. It's a cult. The people at Zappos would rather be there than anywhere else. Friends, family, they view it as the same. It's an amazing, amazing place. Something to consider putting on your list. I could bring you so many examples of culture books, but then it's my luggage, and it's like I go from one place to another, and so I didn't bring them all. But here's a client of mine in Toronto. They're in their 5th year of business. It's 360incentives.com. And this is their culture book. Many of my clients have built their culture book. And if you page through here and at the break, you can take a look. But it's a lot of photos and people having fun and that kind of thing. And what's really interesting about this company is Jason, who is the founder and CEO of the company, his company was rated the #1 best company to work for in all of Canada last year. So how do you think he does with recruiting? And how does he do with retaining employees? And so he has a competitive edge because he pours his heart into his people, and then his people give it back. And so he has venture capitalists knocking on his door saying, I want to invest in your company. You talk about investor capitalists, look at this. Here's Fred Wilson. This is right out of Inc. magazine. Fred Wilson is a founder and owner of one of the premier venture capitalists out there. And venture capitalists, I have another term for it, vulture capitalists, right? And so all they do is they want to put money into something so that they can get it out quickly with a better return than they can get in any other medium. Here's what Fred said. This guy isn't interested in putting money in your company to help you. It's about his return, right? It's all about him, right? Look at this. You have to start with culture, values, and a commitment to creating a fantastic workplace. You can't fake these things. They have to come from the top. They're not bullshit. They're everything. That's him. And by the way, I can walk into a company and in less than 30 minutes I can describe whether the culture is good or bad. And so can he. I walked into this meeting room and felt a good culture. It was a good sign. It's a good sign. We can take it higher. We can take it better. Okay? Tony Hsieh wrote a book on how to build the winning culture that he built at Zappos. The book is called Delivering Happiness. You buy that one. You can buy it anywhere. So, and just talks about how he did that. My next example of 4 examples is Netflix. Remember, they were so late to come into the marketplace. Who had that business? Yeah. How they doing? Yeah. Own the market and gone. And do you know the founder of Netflix says the reason that we kicked them out was because of our culture? Now, there was an internal document that now is open to the public, and all you do is go on your web browser and you can see it now. And it's 120 PowerPoint slides, and all you punch into your browser is Netflix Culture Policy Procedure. And you get 120 PowerPoint slides. Now, these slides will go very quickly. Some of them are 1 word, 2 words. And I got through them in about 10, 12 minutes. But I will tell you, I'm not telling you to build the culture based on Zappos. I'm not telling you to build the culture based on Netflix. I am telling you to build one and design one for you that works for you. But I am going to tell you, they are rocking it. They are rocking it. You know what? The cable companies are now fearful that they're going to blow them up. And it's an incredible place. I'll give you a slide. Let me hit one of the slides. Netflix, 120 slides. Watch this, Netflix. Vacation policy. They used to have a big 3-ring binder with all the rules, regulations, reports you had to file and all that kind of stuff. Have to work here so many years, and then you get a week, and then you get more. You know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. 1 slide. They threw the manual out. Vacation policy, Netflix. When you need vacation, take it. That's it. By the way, expense reimbursement. They had a manual on that. They threw that one away too. It's another slide. Let me hit it. If it's an appropriate company expense, please bill it to us. I'm doing my 4.5-hour presentation on culture in Chicago to 275 business leaders. And I mentioned those 2 examples. There were 2 guys sitting next to each other right where you guys are. And they started talking and laughing. And so I got off of the stage and I went down to them and I said, hey, so what cut me in on the joke, what's going on? And they said, well, I don't know what's the other 118 slides, but shit, I'm thinking those 2 slides alone in my company, I'm out of business in the next 60 days. I said, really? And so you think that those manuals are going to help you? Let me tell you, gentlemen, if you don't trust your employees, you're already going down. See, that's a difference in the culture. The more rules that you put on us, the more we feel you don't trust us, and as a result, we want to make sure that we catch the 5:05 train out of town. And by the way, the kids over there know this better than most. My third example is Southwest Airlines. You want to have a fun 10 minutes some night? Just go on YouTube and punch in Southwest Airlines. Man, that's just unbelievable. I'm 200 plus flights a year, all these different airlines. The people at Southwest look like they're having fun. They look like they enjoy themselves. Look, there's so many simple things that you can look at. Look at how they're just dressed. How they dress. What do they got on? Southwest Airlines.
Polo shirt?
Shirt, golf shirt like this, right? Shorts in the summer. Khakis in the winter. What else? Tennis shoes. Right? Kind of like, hey, if I could dress like I want, I'd probably wear this shit, right? Now, I want you to think about how are the other airlines dressed. No one would pick that shit out. Every morning, get up out of bed and take the death walk to the closet. They're making me put this shit on. I hate putting this shit on. Every time I come in front of a customer, I'm going to tear them like shit. You know what? You know what the badge says on Southwest Airlines? Here's what it says. Jack Daly. American Airlines. Ready? J. Daly. How do you have a conversation with that? I try all the time. Hey, J. How's your day going? What? Well, that's what they said they want me to call you. J. Yeah? That's a company that's not thinking about it. It's a company that's not thinking about it. I'm on a Southwest Airlines flight. Flight attendant gets up and says, hey, y'all, I'm about to do a safety announcement. For those of you who haven't been in an automobile since 1954, y'all look up here. I'm going to show you how a seatbelt works. I'm laughing. The whole row is laughing. The whole plane is laughing. About 5 months later, I'm at a big convention, and Herb Kelleher is on the stage, and I'm on the stage. And I came up to him before we got in front of everybody, and I said, man, I got to tell you a funny story. I was on your plane about 5 months ago, and he goes, yeah, well, everybody didn't think it was funny. And I said, how would you even know? And he said, because I got a letter from one of the passengers. And she said, you know what? Safety ought to be of paramount importance to an airline, and your people are making a mockery of it. And so you need to change your policies and procedures, and here's the name of the flight attendant, and you need to reprimand this flight attendant. And if you don't take action on those two things, I'll be flying another airline. I said, man, people have way too much time on their hands. I said, what did you do? He said, well, I just wrote her a short note back and said, we will miss you. But that's a leader that's saying, I honor the culture more than the customer. If you get the culture right, whew, magic. Big billboard in front of every entrance to the airports. This is several years ago, Southwest Airlines. Let me read it to you. It has 3 lines. I'd love you to write the 3rd line down. Here's the 3 lines. The customer is not number 1. How ballsy is that? Here's the 2nd line. Our employees are. 3rd line is magic. Because if we get it right with our employees, they will get it right with you, our customers. Bang! That is the definition of culture. If we get it right with everybody here, damn, the competition, we will kill them. That's what I know. That's what I know. Last example is Virgin. In my lifetime, which means most of your lifetime, Richard Branson has now grown an empire of 400 plus companies that work under the Virgin brand. Playboy magazine did an interview with him. I'm one of those guys that doesn't just look at the pictures. I actually read the articles. Playboy said, is there an overall lesson on how to keep a company vital? How to keep a company vital would be culture. Here's Branson's answer. It all comes down to people. Nothing else comes close. Motivating people. Bringing in the best. You assume every switchboard operator will excel, and they will. Often people make mistakes, but you allow for that too. Praise people. Like plants, they must be nurtured. Watch this one. And make it fun. Fun in Southwest. Fun. Fun at Zappos. Fun at Virgin. Fun at Master. Well, I don't know. He went on to say, keep it vibrant. Everything comes back to people, nothing else. You get loyalty, enthusiasm, and great service for your customers. Oh, I'm on Southwest Airlines. And I pick out, in the seat in front of you, they got the magazine. Here's Gary Kelly. He's the CEO of Southwest. Look at the headline. The Southwest culture, our secret sauce. I start laughing in the seat. I'm going, how secret can it be? It's in every magazine, on every plane, in every seat. And I read this, and it was really poetic. Listen to this. Admittedly, culture is hard to define. Your business plan is what you are, but culture is who you are. I ask 3 things of our employees every day. Work hard, have fun, and take care of each other. Over 40 years of business, 40 consecutive years of making money every single year when their competitors are losing billions by the quarter. And the big differential, according to the leadership at Southwest, is this page right here. Now, if you drop down to the rewards on that page, and I know I skipped the C, but I'll go to D and then I'll drop back up. I want to give you some factual evidence about this. Why should I do this culture? John Kotter, K-O-T-T-E-R, is viewed professorially in the world as the guru of culture. He is an esteemed professor at Harvard Business School and a multiple New York Times best-selling author. He took 10 years of his life, not an insignificant amount of time, 10 years of his life, and he studied companies that spent time really working hard on their culture, and then he compared how they did as a company with the companies that ignored culture. And he found 4 big things, and I'd like to share with those under rewards. The 4 things he found in this study. First was revenues. That's where we're here. We're in a sales conference. Here we go. Revenues, sales, same thing. Revenues increased 682% versus 166. 682 versus 166. The culture-rich companies' revenue growth was 3x times the culture-deficient companies. For a guy that likes revenues, man, I got enough. But it got better. Look at the second one, stock prices. You don't need to be traded publicly for stock prices to be relevant because stock prices is only another indicator of the value of the company. Stock prices increased 901% versus 74. Culture-rich companies on exit are worth more than 10 times culture-deficient companies. I'm a build and sell entrepreneur. Every company I built was being built to be sold from day one. Damn, shit, let the fun begin. And then I got the net income. That was the third thing he discovered. Net income increased 756% versus 1. Just about able to make payroll and then let the good times roll. I mean, what else do we need to know? And then the last was job growth. Opportunities inside the company. Job growth increased 282% versus 36. Every single business that we have out there in the world has a culture. The question is it one by design or by default? What I skipped were the actions you could take. I'm going to give you 4 because I want you to visualize them to being the 4 legs of a strong culture. You're sitting on a chair with 4 legs. Can you imagine if one of them was missing? I think it would be uncomfortable at a minimum. Same with the culture. First, recognition systems. How many people here are overly recognized? We don't find many hands go up. What are your systems to ensure regular ongoing recognition? People are starving for it, and I can tell you this, from a sales standpoint, the more you recognize me, the more I produce. It is that simple. Show me the love, brother, and I'll show you the business. Recognition systems. Second, communication systems. In big companies, when they do surveys of employees, the number 1 complaint is, I wish I knew more about what was going on, and I wish I heard it more frequently. And when you tell me, I wish it was with integrity. Shoot me straight. Shoot me often with communication and shoot me straight. Third, personal and professional development processes. Why should I come to work here? And once here, why should I stay? What's in it for me? And fourth, empowerment processes. Empowerment processes. Creating an environment in the company where the people who work in it feel comfortable making decisions as if they were the owner. 17 years old, I'm working in a grocery store. It's a union store. I'm a stock boy stocking grocery sales. Every 4 hours, mandatory 15-minute break according to the union. I'm coming back from my break and I see this woman. She's got to be in her 80s. She's stooped over. She's in the produce aisle. She's having a very animated and she's having a very argumentative conversation with the vegetables. I come up to the woman and I say, excuse me, ma'am, it looks like you're out of sort. How can I help you out? She said, Sonny, I came in for fresh spinach. There is none. Big sign, fresh spinach, bin is open. I said, well, why don't I go in the back there and see if we have some back there? Now, I'm going to tell you guys that that's a different union. And at 17, the only thing I know about spinach, it comes out of a can on Popeye. I don't know what it looks like. Hopefully, I got a box labeled. I go in the back. I can't find any. I come back out to her. I said, is that all you came in for today, or do you have other shopping? She said, no, I have other shopping to do. I said, how long do you think it might be in the store? She said, I'll be here about 45 minutes or an hour. I said, well, then we're in great shape. Why don't you do the rest of your shopping, and I'll have your spinach before you're done. And she brightened up, and she moved her cart down the aisle, and I'm standing there in a panic. Where the hell am I going to get fresh spinach? And then I ran out to the parking lot, got my car. I drove 2 miles to a competitor. I bought 6 bags of fresh spinach. I come running back into the store. She's in the checkout line. I'm having the spinach in my hand. I said, how does this look? She said, it's exactly what I was looking for. I said, perfect. How many bags would you like? She said, oh, I only need 1. I said, here, take 2, and they're on us because we really appreciate your loyalty to our store. That was over 4 decades ago. I want to fast forward to today. This kid working in many companies in today's environment does what I just did. What happens to me?
Gets in trouble.
I get fired. All I did that day was stand in front of that woman and say, if the owner of this company were here right now, what would he do? And I think he would have done exactly what I did. You know, I was telling that story just a year ago over in Scotland to about 150 CEOs, and this guy raised his hand back where you are, and he said, whoa, Jack, wait. You're in Scotland. Maybe 1 bag, but not 2. I want to tell you something about that story. Every company that I've built throughout my adult life, on every visit to every location, I have told that story to my employees. I told it exactly as I told it to you, except I finished it like this. We're not in the grocery business. But what I want you to take from the story is this. In our business, I want you to look for the opportunities to give the spinach away. If I gave a conversation and a presentation on empowerment to employees and spent 15 minutes, no one would remember it tomorrow. Behavior wouldn't change, but you could tell a story and people will remember it forever. Do you know I could go back into that same location 6 months from now and walk in the door and say, who's got a spinach story for me? And we're all on the same page. Here's what I would ask the leadership in the room. What are your stories? Who's telling the stories? Stories weave the fabric of a strong culture. The Richard Bransons are storytellers. The Herb Kelleher's are storytellers. The Tony Hsieh's are storytellers. Who are the storytellers at Master Electronics? Where are they? There's a great book out that was written about 30 years ago by a guy by the name of David Armstrong called Managing by Storying Around. And it'll give you just tons of ideas about how to tell the stories, what stories to tell, where to find the stories, all of that. So that's that page. Somebody needs to own that page.
I understand.
Good. Thank you. We have a volunteer. All right. So I want to go and deep dive on a few pages, and then we'll take our break, okay? Hang with me just a bit. Page 6. I made page 6 so brain dead easy. It's just too easy, right? Look, here's just some ideas on how to do recognition. Send people birthday cards. Everybody in the company should get a birthday card. I had 2,600 salespeople. They all got birthday cards sent to their home by me. I just went to HR. They knew the birthday of everybody. I said, every month on the 15th, before the month, give me everybody's birthdays for next month. I just knock them all out at the same time, give them back to HR, and tell them to bleed them out. Same thing with anniversaries. Easy to do. People like being recognized on their birthday. I'm very active in social media. 20% of my business comes for free from social media today. Every morning I wake up and recognize people on their birthdays that are Facebook friends with me, and I have over 10,000. It makes it easy to just tell me, here are the 10, 15 people that are birthdays today. People all over the world in different countries are coming back to me and telling me, wow, that's unbelievable that you would do that. Easy. How many companies do that? Not many. And by the way, it doesn't all have, we don't, it'd be neat if you sent us all a birthday card, right? But every manager in this room should show they care about their people. Every one of them should do the same thing. Oh, too many birthday cards. I mean, come on, that's bullshit, right? Handwritten notes. Do you know how powerful this document is? This blank sheet of paper? If Riyadh worked for me and I came into work and I was there before him, which typically would be the case, I wasn't saying anything negative about you. It's just I don't have any sleeping habits that are worthy of emulating.
I can tell.
Okay?
I can
All right. So I hate to go to bed at night, and I can't wait to get up in the morning. And in fact, my wife says that I fall asleep in the middle of a sentence. And I wake up in the morning and finish the sentence. I've never, ever had a cup of coffee. And the people who know me say, nor should you. Now, I get in earlier than Riyadh, and he reports to me, and I stop by his desk with a blank sheet of paper, and I said, Riyadh, I was driving in today, and I was thinking about you. I was thinking about all the time that we have worked together. I'm thinking about how the company has grown. I think about how well you're regarded in the industry, how many times your customers come to me and say, what a great guy you are. I think about the employees in the company and how they feel about you. And I just wanted to say thanks for being who you are and what you do. And let's find a way to go out and have a bottle of wine together sometime. Stop by my office and we'll put it on the calendar. Jack. I leave it on his desk. Change his behavior that day? You think it might last for a week?
Possible.
How about a month? You want me to let me give you some insider information? How about a lifetime? That's a lifetime, baby. Right there. That's a lifetime. I had a system for mine. I had 2,600 salespeople. This is my system. I said I'm gonna write handwritten notes to 100 of my 100 of the 2,600 every month. And Gloria was my admin assistant. And I said to Gloria, I want you to keep track of everyone that I write, and on the 10th and the 20th of the month, come in and tell me where I stand. Hey Jack, it's the 20th of the month. You're at 37. If you're going to get 100, you better get hopping. I had a production report run on the 15th and the end of the month, where I ranked the 2,600 salespeople from top to bottom. 50 people to a page. I would cheat from time to time to do this, and I'd run that top page of 50 guys through the copier 50 times. I'd circle each guy's name, and then I'd write right on the production report some nice words, and I'd send them out. You know what I found them? Hanging up all over everybody's work area. I walked into my Buffalo, New York office, and every handwritten note that I had written anybody in that company, in that location, was on a wall called the Wall of Fame. Got a note from Jack. I walked into my Colorado Springs office, and this kid walks up to me, and he shakes my hand, and he says, Mr. Daly, I want to introduce myself. My name is Bill Smith, and I'm a new sales guy here, and I did just what you did. And he said, no, you don't leave me, sir. Just look in my eyes and remember my name. My name is Bill Smith, and I'm going to tell you something right now. You know those notes you send to top producers? Well, before the end of the year, you're going to send one to Bill Smith. I took all the people in that location out for drinks that night, and I got back to my hotel room at about 9:30. And I want to tell you something. You got 2,600 people that you have responsibility for. Can you imagine how many voicemails and emails were backlogged on this sucker? And you know what I did when I got in that room? Put it right down, and I took and wrote 10 handwritten notes because of Bill Smith. And you know what I said? Whatever the hell's going on in that baby, this thing will trumpet all day long. But you know what human nature is? We go to this. We go to this, and we plow through this. And you know, now it's midnight, and I got a 7 o'clock flight. I'm going to have to get up at 5:30 in order to make it, and it's going to be tight just to do that. And that's midnight. And so what do I say about these handwritten notes? What do I say? Yeah, I'm going to do them tomorrow, another time, later, plain. When do we do them? Never. There's a powerful sentence. Please get it down somewhere. People and companies tend to underperform to their capabilities Because we rush to the urgent at the expense of the important. It's a fundamental of human nature. We rush to the urgent at the expense of the important. Here's what I want to try to tell you, that these businesses that are beating the pants off of everybody out there, the leadership is focused on the important. Prioritize the notes. You're looking at a guy that has every single handwritten note that I've ever gotten in my career from anyone in a leadership position in my life. In a file. It's thin. I don't think it's thin because I'm a shit. I think it's because they were. Don't be a shit. 4, PSR, planned spontaneous recognition. Planned spontaneous recognition. If you want me to give you a description of that, it's a surprise event. Surprise party. Just a surprise thing. I had the biggest month in the history of the company. We put more revenues up on the board than we had ever done. And so I had 275 people in this 25,000 square foot office space. And so what I did is I contracted to have 7 of these flip charts in the lobby with an hour, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock lines there. And it just said, we busted through the biggest month in the history of the company, and pick a time that you would like your free 1-hour massage and go to the meeting room that thing is telling you to go to. And today, it's a 1-hour free massage on me to everybody in the house. I have no idea what that cost me, but I can tell you this. The people in our company talked about it for more than a year. They talked about it to their family. They talked about it to their friend. And this is what the conversation was like. Man, I work for a really cool company. It's fun, and they're appreciative of me. I'll give you an example. Free massages in the company. Man, that's something I can leverage. That's something we can do. We can really go and grow. Hey, shit, man, are they hiring? Happens. Caught in the act. I took over a $23 billion savings bank during the S&L crisis in the early 90s as a turnaround specialist. And I went out and visited. I had a couple hundred bank branches. I visited the offices, and I was saying, man, these people are doing some really cool stuff, but I would never know it because I'm not here. I got to find a way to recognize them. So on the way back into my office, I doodled this in the back of the car, and this is what I came up with: caught in the act of greatness. And anybody could give this to anybody for any reason whenever they thought they did something great. And I inherited 15 direct reports with 12 years of average tenure with the bank. And I had a meeting, and I said, hey, I think this is a good idea. We can recognize people all over the system very, very easily. And unanimously, they said, I don't think it's a good idea. And I said, why? And they said, well, there's no rules. People will give it to their friends for no reason at all. And I said, oh, my God, how horrible over-recognition. We're doing it. And I ordered 5,000 of them, and I thought that it would last for 60 days. Actually, we went through 30,000 of them in 60 days. 30,000 people recognized, with people saying, thanks, you did a great job. Why not do that, guys? We tell people to go out of the box, but we won't. But you know what out of the box is? Giving the spinach away. But if you want to get that out of the box behavior, here's what I learned in my life. You recognize and reward that behavior. So what if the store, the following month after I gave the bag spinach away, gave me a $100 gift certificate to buy something in the shopping center? Then I bet the other 200 employees in the company, when they saw me get that presentation, would say, shit, I'm going to look for opportunities to give the spinach away. Associate of the month, quarter, year, easy to do. Ring the bell. I got a big bell that hangs outside my office. Anybody can ring it for any reason whenever they think they deserve recognition. The bell's rung. Everybody says, hey, what's up? And then we all give them a hoorah. Easy. Digital photo cards. Oh, this is criminal. I've used my cards for selling. So this guy, this is an incredible tool. The cameras in here are just stellar, right? And so there's a lot of different services, but here's the service I use. I use a service called Send Out Cards. And actually, one of the cool things about Send Out Cards is that I fill out a piece of paper, all the letters of the alphabet in capital and all the letters small case, and then 0 to 9 in my own handwriting, and then my cards are done all in my own penmanship. And all I do is I take a picture of me with the employee, the biggest month they ever had, the first sale they ever had, they've completed a big project, whatever that is, and whatever that event is, I'm in the photo with them, and then I just type on my iPhone or whatever it is, I type in whatever message I want to give them, and I put their address, and off it goes. And I never touch the card, I never look for the card or any of that type of thing. And when I had a company your size, I'm doing several hundred of these cards. I'm just running around, just taking pictures all over the place, and people are like, I send them to their homes, and then they drip back into the company, and they want to show them the people in the and it's like, damn. You know what? I'm going to tell you, I was the founder of the company all my life. You know what I really was? I was a cheerleader. Be a cheerleader. And contests, well, we got salespeople here, they can tell you. Contests work. You know what my mantra is? Daily contest, weekly contest, monthly contest, quarterly contest. Contest the shit out of these guys. I don't know what it is about people, but I'm telling you, in sales, it works. Does it? It's huge. I could go in front of my salespeople and walk out on the first day of the month and say, I got a handful of dirt, and the guy that puts the most numbers up this month gets the dirt. They run out the building. Give me the dirt. Page number 7 is a whole bunch of ideas on how to be better communicators. Got to share the vision more and more and more and more. Offsite planning events. I hate the word retreat, but it's a good place to communicate, all right? I never understand why management takes the top people off on some 2-day retreat to talk about where you're going to build the business. Do you put a white flag up when you're having the meeting? Hey, retreat! Make it in advance, all right? Daily hello, getting everybody together and saying what's hot, what's not. No longer than 15 minutes, boom, bang. Monthly announcements a little longer, quarterly a little bit longer. Email blast them, leave them out. Leverage the technology. Send stuff out. Let us know what the hell's going on. More the better. Newsletters, easy. Now, used to print them. Now, technology, internet, bang. You know what, most companies, we got HR doing it. HR is not going to turn a newsletter out that anybody wants to read. It's not their fault. The government put them into a policeman role. So it's all rules, regulations, and all this shit that I don't want to read. Sorry about that, HR. I tried to take the little... Where's the HR person I just buried? Anticipation. But it's not the HR person's fault. It's the government's fault. What we want is, here's the criteria of a good newsletter. You stop what you're doing to read it. And then you press a button and you share it with your significant other. And say, hey, here's some stuff going on in the company. It's cool stuff. Orientation and reorientation. Let me kill that one right now. Stop throwing parties for people leaving. I can't understand it. Oh, he's leaving next week. Oh, let's take him out for drinks. How's the return on investment on that? Now, here's what I do like. I do like the party, but here's how I like the party. Throw parties for people when you hire them. So first day, that's when you throw a party. I hire you, your first day, you walk in the lobby, this is on the board. Riyadh, welcome to the family. I'm telling you what, we're thrilled to have you join us. You walk up to the person in the lobby and introduce yourself. Who did he just introduce himself to? What? Who is that person? Director of First Impressions. At least that's what they are in my company. In a lot of companies, we call them the receptionists, right? And so where do we start smelling the culture? Right there at that desk, right? Hey, I'm Riyadh. Oh, Riyadh, everybody is talking about it. We're all looking forward to having you come in. Hey, come on, let me show you to your office or to your desk. You go back to your desk, streamers hanging from the ceiling all around your desk. Helium-filled balloons tied to the back of the chair. A card signed by the owner saying, welcome to the company. Card signed by the leadership, welcome to the company. Card signed by the team, welcome to the team. Company logo shirt laying on your desk. Company logo ball cap laying on your desk. A box of business cards on your desk with your name on it, as opposed to the sales manager saying, here's 30 of mine, scratch my name out and write yours. Oh, you've been there. Yeah, got it. All right. And then we have lunch brought in, and the whole sales team gets together, and everybody says 5 minutes, so here we go, blah, 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 blah. And then you get 15. Here's my blah, 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 blah. And then I have a vision. of Riyadh putting his shirt on. I'm stuffing his new cards in his pocket. By the way, when he left, to go into when he left that morning to go to his new job that morning, when he said to his wife or significant other, what did she say? Good luck. Have a great day. Can't wait to hear all about it, right? Now, in most companies, what happens is we have no signage, right? No business card, none of this stuff, right? Riyadh, your new employee's here. Oh, shit, send them to HR, right? And then put him in a room with a 3-ring binder with no windows and tell him to read it, right? And then he drives home. Hey, how was your first day, honey? Well, sort of sucked. Hope it gets better, right? That's what we do with new employees, not what I'm doing. No, but he goes home on my company and says, hey, so honey, how was your new job? Oh, shit, you should have been there. My name was in lights. They had this, they had that. Yeah, I had a sense it was going to be like that. How would you have a sense it was going to be like that? Well, look at this. They sent this bottle of wine home and said to crack it open dinner tonight and celebrate the beginning of a great journey together. Alternatively, you could have parties for people leaving. You know, if enough are leaving in a given month, you could have a big gala event. They're all leaving. Let's have a big damn party. This is the bizarro shit that I see going on. Why are we not going and growing? Why are people headed to the train station so quickly? Shit, they're waiting for the party to leave. All right. Survey the people and ask them how life is going. Just ideas here. The best thing I've ever seen on empowerment is on page 8. I ripped this out of a book that you will have a hard time finding. It's out of print, but you can find it if you work hard at it. It's a really good book. It's written by a guy by the name of Rick Rose, R-O-S-E. The book's title, How to Make a Buck and Still Be a Decent Human Being. Great sales management book, by the way, Riyadh. I guess we're taping it, so that means you don't need to take notes. Okay. All right. Lower the expectation, Jack. That's okay. He'll pay anyway. All right. 5 big things. In the book, this is what Rick Rose did. He put this on boards this big all over the company. Is it right for the customer? Is it right for the company? Is it ethical, something which we will be held accountable, and is it against the company's basic beliefs? The answer is yes to 5 questions. Just do it. Now, imagine having this in the grocery store, and I got the woman that's 78 years old in the spinach. Is it right for the customer? Yes. Is it right for the company? Yes. Is it ethical? Yes. Accountable? Yes. Consistent with the company's basic beliefs? Well, I don't know what they are, but that ought to be. Give her the damn spinach, Jack. Just making it easy for us to act in the right behavior. You know how many times I've found myself in a sales organization where I had to go to a customer when they're ready to sign on the dotted line and say, hey, you know what? I'll get back to you within the next 48 hours. I got to get permission. Whew. I'm going to rip the vocal cords out of that manager. Put me in that shitty position. Page 9. All I've been just sharing with you since I've been in front of you is page 9. People don't care how much you know until you know how much they care. I got 3:45. We're back at 5 of. That's 10 minutes. Don't be late because I'm not waiting. See ya.